What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? If you're checking your phone, stop that. Instead, try this technique from the mind science pioneer Jose Silva. You see, when we're awake, our brain is at what is called beta, the waking level. But when we wake up in the morning, our brain is actually at a different altered state of mind called the alpha frequency. At the alpha frequency, you can command your body to heal itself. At the alpha frequency, you can program your subconscious to remove bad beliefs or even take on new habits. Some even suggest that at alpha, your intuition is stronger. This is the state that people often spend years of meditation to train themselves to get into. But it turns out you're in alpha for the first 5 minutes when you wake up. The problem is most people get out of it by checking their phone. So put your phone down, go brush your teeth, go pee if you need to, get back to bed, sit up, and here's the technique Jose suggests you do. Sit up in bed and count backwards from 100 to 1. This will take you about 3 to 4 minutes. And as you count backwards, feel yourself relax. Because you're counting, you keep your mind active so you don't fall asleep. Now, once you're at the alpha level, you're effectively at a really deep level of meditation. This is where you can apply different techniques such as communicating with your body, self-healing, Reiki, creative visualization, and everything is enhanced. Do this every day for the first 10 days. Now, for the next 10 days, you count from 50 to 1, and you'll be able to go as deep. For the next 10 days, 25 to 1. Then on day 31 to 40, you're counting only from 10 to 1. If you do this every day for 40 days, you train your brain to be able to go to alpha anytime, not just in the morning, but anytime you want by simply counting backwards from 10 to 1. Just like a hypnotist can get you to sink into a different state, at this point, you can go really deep in meditation in 10 seconds. But it's what you do at the alpha level that's where magic happens. Now, the Silva method has become one of America's most powerful personal growth programs, and videos I've done in the Silva method have become some of the most viral videos on the internet, and you're going to see why.
Helen Hadsell was able to win any competition she took part in. She was known as the contest queen because she had won 7 trips to Paris, boats, houses. She would basically take part in any sweepstake she read about, any contest, and she would just win. That made my documentary crew, and I asked Helen, how do you do that? And she spoke about this thing called the Silva technique. Helen, you see, was Jose Silva's former PR manager. She had the benefit of learning closely from that man. Jose Silva was a radio repairman who lived in the border town of Laredo, Texas in the 1940s. He had 10 kids, and his kids were not doing very well in school. Now, Jose Silva had a crazy idea. You see, he had served in the US Army, and he was fascinated by the psychological questions that the Army psychologists would ask new recruits. So he decided to look at psychology and then look at what he knew about radio repair and figure out how he could change the mindset and the brains of his kids so they could do better in school. As a radio repairman, he knew that if you reduce the resistance of a wire, more electricity flows through it. So he wondered, what could I do to reduce the resistance in the human mind? He decided to experiment with reducing any form of resistance in his children's brain. He experimented with biofeedback. He experimented with hypnosis. And sure enough, his children's grades started improving at school. But then something astonishing happened. He was sitting down with his daughter Isabel, reading a history book and asking Isabel questions. So he would guide Isabel into a restful state of being. She would have her eyes closed. He would read her the important dates. She would be able to absorb that, and then he would ask her questions. But something strange started happening. Isabel was able to answer a question before he verbally spoke it. Now let me explain this. He would think of the question in his head, a question such as, who was the 16th president of the United States? Before he could verbally say it, Isabel would answer the question, Abraham Lincoln. Jose Silva was mind blown, and so he wrote to Professor J.B. Ryan at Duke University. J.B. Ryan was famous for his research into a concept called ESP, extrasensory perception. And Silva told Ryan, Doctor, I think I trained my daughter to have ESP. J.B. Ryan replied back in a letter and said, no, that's absolutely not true. No one can be trained to have this. Your daughter must have been born with it. Jose Silva disagreed. So he continued training the rest of his kids to develop a high degree of intuition. So now over the next 10 years, Jose Silva trained 39 Laredo children on this approach. He documented the results. He made everything hyper precise, and he proved J.B. Ryan wrong. This was a trainable skill. But then adults started noticing, and adults started coming to him in Laredo, Texas to get trained. Jose Silva decided to call his approach the Silva Mind Control Method. And what happened next was astonishing. A man wrote in a newspaper how after learning Silva's method, he was able to cure his persistent migraine headaches for good. The migraines just disappeared. The next class, Jose wrote in his autobiography, was absolutely flooded by people. And the Silva Mind Control Method ended up expanding all across the United States. So here's what Jose Silva discovered as the root cause of all our problems. We are powerful beings. But from the time we are born, from the education system we grow up in, from our parents and caretakers who may not know better, we take on so much negative programming. We actually suppress our inherent human abilities. There was a famous study done that showed that all children under the age of 4 are naturally hyper-creative and genius. But the percentage of kids who show genius ability gets lower and lower and lower as they get older. Something about our modern way of life removes these unique abilities from us. The solution Jose Silva discovered is the act of being able to consciously access altered states of consciousness. What is an altered state of consciousness? Well, our consciousness actually operates at different frequencies. You can measure this using a scientific device called an EEG machine. There is a frequency called beta, which is the waking state frequency. Most of us are in beta as we go through our jobs. But when you get into a relaxed state of mind, you go into a hyper-creative state called alpha. Alpha is known for creativity, for problem solving, for accelerated healing. Meditators, monks go into alpha as part of their daily routine. Athletes are proven to go into alpha before they take a shot, before they shoot an arrow. The alpha state is what you're in when you practice relaxation or meditation. And this is why there are over 15,000 studies today that show that being relaxed and being in a meditative or mindful state actually improve your health and well-being. But you can go further than that. You can access the next state, which is called theta. Now, theta is a really curious state. Scientists who study theta say that this is the state that gives you inspiration, eureka moments. Difficult problems suddenly get solved with a great insight. Let me give you an example. Thomas Edison, the great inventor, was known for his afternoon naps, but he napped in a really curious way. Legend has it he would sleep on a sofa holding a metal ball in his hand, and when he drifted off into deep sleep, his hand would drop, the ball would hit a metal plate next to the sofa, causing a loud clang that woke him up. In short, he was dipping into sleep and waking up, dipping into sleep and waking up. Why did he do this? Because Edison was dipping into the theta level. The theta level is the level of light sleep, and he was dipping into it to get inspiration and insights. He wasn't the only one. A famous American inventor by the name of William Gates II would create some of the most incredible patents and trademarks. He had dozens of them, but his method was to go into theta by locking himself in his darkened basement, closing all the lights, sitting on his desk, and going into a deep state of relaxation where ideas and eureka moments would flow to him. Now, while beta is the waking frequency, all of us can learn to tap into alpha and theta, and the next level is the most curious of all, delta. Delta is the level that you're in when you're asleep. But Silva found that you can learn to program your mind just before going to sleep and have your mind solve problems for you while at delta. Scientists who study delta have noticed this. People who are able to operate at the delta level of mind often tend to be incredibly lucky. Miracles happen. Crazy serendipities occur. You might call it magic or good luck, but it's something different. It almost seems like these people who are trained to access delta can bend reality. Jose Silva went on to create this incredible movement called the Silva Mind Control Movement. It was one of the first personal growth programs in America. His book, The Silva Mind Control Method, sold millions upon millions of copies. Everyone from opera singer Margarita Piazza to the Chicago White Sox spoke about how Silva techniques were allowing them to improve their skill on stage or on the ball field. Silva went deep into pioneering new techniques, including the centering exercise to rapidly take you into the alpha level. And then he created techniques to amplify focus, creativity, and intuition. His mental video technique, which he created, in the mid-1990s as he lay at his deathbed was designed to help you bring in higher intelligence to help you solve the most difficult problems. He also created the 3 scenes technique to help you see your life unfolding exactly as you want it to unfold, and also to accelerate healing and manifest your deepest desires. His case working technique was designed to train people to learn the science of mind-body healing. As the Silva method grew, of course there were skeptics. Newspapers sent journalists to go into Silva classes and see what this man was talking about. Silva classes were absolutely mobbed by people, filled with Wall Street types and executives, and they were loving it because they were learning to conquer stress. But what they did not know, Jose Silva was not going to stop at something so simple. Stress was just one aspect. By day 4 of the class, they were learning to tap into intuition, to access deep states of meditation, and to manifest their future. An entire marketing company was organized by graduates to use what they learned in Silva to invent new products and decide new ways to market them. In its 3rd year, the company had 18 products on the market. Furthermore, one advertising man used to need 2 months to create a campaign for his clients. This was quite average in the field. Applying the Silva method, he brought the process down to 20 minutes. The rest of the work was done in 2 weeks. Now, the famous Chicago White Sox had 14 players take the Silva method. All their individual averages improved, most of them dramatically. The husband of a woman who was suffering from obesity suggested she try the Silva method because all the diets she tried had failed. She agreed, provided he took Silva too. She lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks. He stopped smoking. A professor at a college of pharmacy taught Silva to his graduates. Their grades are going up in all their courses, he said, with less studying, and they are more relaxed. Everybody knows how to use their imagination. I just get my students to practice it more. I show them that imagination is valid and there's a form of reality in imagination that we can use. With all of the success, Jose did not become a celebrity, not a guru, not a spiritual leader with followers. He's a plain man of simple ways, speaks with a soft, lost accent of a Mexican American, a kind man who smiles easily whenever he hears, "Jose, you changed my life." And he replies, "No, I didn't do it. You did, with your own mind." Now, are you ready for this? Because this is the craziest story of all. You see this? This is the cover of Time magazine. And on this cover, you see the author, Richard Bach, who wrote the famous book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. This Time magazine is from November 13, 1972, and I got this on eBay. Richard Bach made the cover of Time magazine because his book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, struck such a chord, it took off and sold millions of copies. But here's the thing. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar magazine, Richard Bach said that this book had been sitting in his basement for years until he took a Silva class. And as he went into his alpha level of mind, the final closing chapter of the book came together. He was able to complete the book, submit it, and it became one of the best-selling books of his generation, putting him on the cover of Time magazine. I interviewed his daughter to validate it, and sure enough, Bach's daughter confirmed the story, saying that her father had the manuscript for 5 years in their basement. She also said that her father would come back from these classes, sit down with her, and teach her techniques. And now she understood that these were Silva techniques. Before I show you how to change your mind to change your life, let me first say, my name is Vishen Lakhiani, and many people call me one of the luckiest people alive. I built my dream company, Mind Valley, into a massive valuation. My book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, became the #1 book in the world on Amazon on September 16, 2017. My second book hit #1 in the Wall Street Journal. I run multiple companies around the world in just a few hours a week, and I live a life that I consider blessed. Now, while on the outside, all of this seems like luck, the truth is, I've been using the Silva method for the last 20 years to reprogram my brain, to manifest the life I designed. And once you begin to understand it, synchronicities become part of your life. Magic seems to infuse your life. It almost seems as if the universe has your back, just like Helen Hetzel did. You see, Helen was doing what all us Silva graduates know. She was a master at bending reality. It wasn't until I stumbled upon the silver method that everything changed for me. It started when I was 26. It was April 2001 when I landed in San Francisco, and my timing sucked because the dot-com bubble burst. I lost my savings, I lost the job I had, and I was forced to get a dialing for dollars job selling software to lawyers and making absolutely nothing. The economy was so bad, they were not paying a base salary. It was either sell a software and get a 20% cut, or you don't get to eat that week. I was seeing my bank account get lower and lower and lower, and I couldn't afford rent, so I was sleeping on a friend's couch. And one day, in desperation, I decided to get on Google and ask for help. Google was the hot new search engine in Silicon Valley, and I can't remember what I put in. Maybe it was, "Dear Google, why does life suck so bad?" Or it was, "Dear Google, how do I get out of this rut?" And what I remember happened next is that I saw a search result for a Jose Silva class happening in Los Angeles. I decided to put together the few $100s I have, fly to LA and take this class, especially because it seemed to promise so much. Improving sales, manifesting your dream life, bringing you out of a depression, and boy, I needed that because I was so down. Now this class in LA was called Silva Ultramind. It was Jose Silva's final creation. He had produced this program and released it in a limited way to the world in around 1996. Jose died in February 1999, and this program was his last creation. And this seminar in LA was being taught by a pharmaceutical salesperson. When I met her, she explained that she had used these techniques to overcome the agony of a tragic divorce. She had built her life back. She had transformed her sales in her company. And to prove it to me, she showed me the beautiful red sports car that she was driving. Furthermore, she said she had used it to meet the man of her dreams. And that's why, in addition to all of this, she decided to give back to others by getting trained in the Silva method so she could teach this class. That was enough for me. If I could get just 10% of the success she had, I would be ecstatic. And so I took the class with her. I was the only person who showed up for this 2-day class. And so as I went through this class, she made me understand why I was so stuck. I was using just a limited portion of the faculties of my mind. I was programmed with beliefs and ideas that were holding me back. And I'd literally shut myself down to human abilities that Jose Silva had showed that we all have, but so few use. I flew back to San Francisco Sunday night because I had to start work on Monday. And my life was never going to be the same again. On Monday morning, when I woke up, before going to work, I used my Silva techniques to program my day. And then at work, I used the technique to go into the theta level of mind and tap into intuition. You see, back then, we had to check out the yellow pages. Remember that big, heavy book? We had to check out the yellow pages from the San Francisco Public Library, and I had to call every law firm in my designated territory, San Antonio. We had to go from A to Z in order. But I decided to try the Silva technique. As I read the yellow pages, I would check my gut for an impulse or a feeling that this was the right lawyer to call. And I would call only the lawyers where I felt an intuitive yes. Now, something really strange happened that day. That day itself, I did double the sales I averaged. I attributed this to pure luck, right? So I didn't make much of it. But at the end of the week, I continued having double my sales average. And now I knew something interesting was happening. 2 weeks later, I doubled my sales again using a different Silva technique called subliminal programming. And 2 weeks after that, I doubled my sales again using yet another Silva technique called the 3 scenes technique. My boss came to me, and I'll never forget what he said. He said, "Wish, what are you doing?" I said, "I honestly don't know how it works, but I think it's called ESP." And he replied, "Nah, that's bullshit, but can you keep doing it?" I grew so fast in that company that in the next 4 months, I was promoted 3 times. I was 26 years old and made vice president of sales, and they shipped me out to New York to start the company's New York office on September 11, 2002. I worked at that company, operating a gorgeous office in Chelsea Market, New York, and I loved my life. But 18 months into it, I began to feel a calling. I began to feel that the corporate world wasn't for me. I wanted something where I could make an impact. And that's when I remembered a quote by Nelson Mandela. Mandela said, "If you want to change the world, change education." So I thought, wow, I want to go into education. But what would I teach? And then this dawned on me. The most valuable education I had in my entire life was the Silva method. This is what I wanted to teach. And so I decided to contact Jose Silva's family, get the license to teach the Silva method, to promote its products, and start a company around that. I became a Silva instructor. I traveled the world teaching small Silva classes for 5 years before I decided to go bigger and start a company to transform humanity. That company is called Mindvalley. And today we are the biggest personal growth company on the planet. None of these accomplishments would have been possible if it wasn't for Silva. This is just one of the many goals that I was able to see in my mind so picture perfect using Silva's mental screen technique. Every time I think back, it's incredible how my life moved towards these goals with so much ease and fluidity. I started working with Jose Silva's family in around 2004. I helped take the Silva method to a wide audience again. And in 2018, Jose Silva's daughter, Diana Silva, asked me to be the face of the new Silva method to make sure that Jose's knowledge never left the earth. In 2020, we took Jose Silva's most powerful 2-day seminar, Silva Ultramind, and we transformed it into an online program that transforms lives everywhere. It is the most advanced Silva program in the world right now, and it is only available on the Mindvalley platform to translate Jose Silva's work and legacy for a new generation. Silva Ultramind is a 28-day program hosted by me with core ideas from Jose Silva's work. Every day, you go through a 15 to 20 minute training designed to layer on advanced mind power techniques into your consciousness. You learn how to tap into altered states of consciousness with such ease and fluidity that they become second nature. Your journey begins with Silva's core mind exercise. It's called the mental screen, and it's designed for enhanced visualization. This is perfect if you've struggled to manifest things in the past. The mental screen is a powerful tool that you use when you're able to tap into the alpha level. You can use it in so many ways. I used it to create healthy relationships with everyone around me, to build a team for Mindvalley, to connect with some of the most amazing people in the world. There is the world-famous Silva centering exercise. This is a 22-minute audio designed by Jose Silva with a particular language pattern that allows you to go into the alpha level of mind easier and easier every time you listen to it. And soon, you're able to tap into that alpha level of mind instantly using a simple finger movement that you program into your brain. Then you'll discover how to access your subconscious mind's full intuitive ability. Once you learn to get to the alpha level of mind, it's then just an extra step to get into the theta level of mind. The theta level of mind is where ideas and creativity flows to you. I work with engineers, and we specifically go into the theta level of mind to design the user interface and the algorithms for complex apps and AI projects. Because the idea flow when you're at theta is incredibly powerful. Then, in Silva, you learn how to use a powerful tool called the 3 scenes technique. This is an incredible way to tap and speak into your subconscious to reprogram different aspects of your life. People have used the 3 scenes technique to reprogram their behavior towards food or exercise, to give up smoking, and you can even use it to program your body to heal. We've seen people use this technique for so many amazing things. Camilla Hansen is a former Miss Sweden and a Swedish entrepreneur. She spoke about using the 3 scenes technique to heal her skin. Bianca Andreescu was a 19-year-old Romanian girl who beat Serena Williams and won the US Open in September 2019. She used the Silva programming technique of creative visualization to see herself winning that trophy. This stuff is powerful. Now, as you go deeper into the program, you learn the most powerful tool of all, the mental video technique. The mental video technique is so unique because it shows you how to work with your mind at the delta level. You see, most people are asleep. If your mind slows down to the level of the delta level, you typically are asleep. You're unconscious. But there is a technique that you can use just before going to sleep to put a problem that you want to solve into your mind. And the next day when you wake up, over the next 72 hours, you start to notice synchronicities that seem to make this problem resolve itself. This is what the mental video technique does. It's a little strange, but once you get the hang of it, this is one of the most powerful mental tools you can use in your arsenal. And people who use it swear by it. The mental video technique is useful for problems that you don't know how to specifically solve. It's useful for relationship issues. It's useful for problems such as growing your finances, even though you don't have an idea on what action to take next. It seems to connect you to a higher source that guides you to the right path. All of these techniques are layered onto you day by day by day using a unique methodology of speaking to your conscious. You see, when you take this program, you aren't just learning through lectures. I'm reading out Jose Silva's specific word-for-word scripts that guide you into altered states, and as you are there, programs your consciousness to unlock these abilities. You are not asleep. You are not being hypnotized. You are fully awake and you understand every word. But as you say these words to yourself, something shifts and new abilities unlock. For example, when you first start, it may take you 5 minutes to train your mind to get to the alpha level. By day 20, you can get there in 30 seconds because we've programmed your mental attitude to going into altered states. Some of the things our graduates have accomplished are wild. I told you about the Helen Hadsell story, the Richard Bach story. Here's another. Burt Goldman. Burt Goldman is another Silva legend. In his 80s, Burt Goldman became an accomplished photographer, an accomplished artist. He learned to play the piano. He was able to pick up skills with such ease. But know this about Burt. Burt was a close friend of Jose Silva, was a Silva graduate, and went so deep into Silva, he became an instructor himself. And then there are all of these stories from ordinary people around the world that have been submitted to our website. So in total, this is what it looks like. You're going to get 28 individual lessons over 28 days. Before the pandemic, if you wanted to learn Silva Ultramind, you'd only be able to attend a seminar maybe once, maybe twice a year. You'd probably spend thousands of dollars flying to a seminar location like LA or Tallinn, booking a hotel room, staying there for 3 to 4 days as you go through this seminar. When I last taught a Silva seminar in Tallinn, Estonia, there were 500 people in the audience. And these were CEOs, executives, startup founders. But the pandemic made us change the way we presented this. Because we had to shut down seminars, we decided to make the entire program digital. It took us almost a year to think about how to take what was a seminar experience and turn it into a digital experience delivered on a beautiful platform that could have the same efficacy. And I'm proud to say we were able to do that. And because it's delivered online, the enrollment price is nowhere close to the original seminar. Now here's the best part. Silva Ultramind is part of Mind Valley, the world's biggest personal growth company, with 60 plus unique programs in every aspect of human transformation. And when you become a Mind Valley member, you don't just get Silva Ultramind, all other programs are unlocked for you as well. Now, you might want to start with Silva Ultramind and go through this 28-day experience. But after that, you might want to jump into another program. I worked with Jose's family to make Silva Ultramind not just a program that teaches you how to use your mind, but teaches you to dream and think bigger about your life, to be unstoppable in your quest for amazing health, amazing relationships, having an amazing career. And as those become clearer for you, you might want to jump into one of our other programs. Maybe Mind Valley's programs on focus and entrepreneurship so your career could grow. Maybe Mind Valley's programs on relationships so you can have the love life you've always dreamed of. Maybe Mind Valley's programs on energy healing and spirituality so you can further unleash your inner Buddha. And all of these are freely available to you on the platform, so you never stop growing. And all of this is available when you sign up for Silver Ultramind on Mindvalley today. Now, in addition, there's something really special. You see, I'm a big believer in the power of community. When you become a Mindvalley member, I promise you one thing. You will never feel lonely again, because our community is a living, thriving community of over 100,000 people all around the world who are so dedicated to improving their lives and each other's lives. You'll be able to make new friends and even attend community meetups happening across the planet. You are part of a society of people who understand that being human is so much more than traditional education made it to be, and want to become the best humans they can be so they can uplift others. Now, this entire package, being trained directly with me and Jose Silva, becoming a Mindvalley member, could be as high as 5 figures, but it's not going to be $8,000 or $4,000 or even $2,000. In fact, I'm going to tear that price into shreds for you. And then I'm going to tear those shreds into further shreds. You can get all of this for less than $1.50 a day when you take advantage of our one-time yearly offer. And the best part is, you don't have to risk a thing. With Mindvalley, you get to try Silver Ultramind risk-free for the next 15 days. At any point in the next 15 days, with one click, you can give yourself a full refund. You can go through the entire program if you want in 15 days. And then with one click, get a full refund, no email, no phone call needed. Why are we being so generous? Well, because Mindvalley's platform sells itself. Just read the 16,000 case studies that we have on our website. Once you experience the divine spark within you and you see just what you're capable of with the right training, you can never go back to your old self, and you will constantly have a desire to grow, become better and better, and improve your experience of the world. In addition, when you become a Mindvalley member, you're going to get a string of bonuses to help you with this silver experience. Bonus 1 is a library of live calls where I answer common questions. Bonus 2 is even cooler. Before I produced Silver Ultramind, I produced a program called Creative Visualization. Creative Visualization used to sell for $249, and I co-produced this with the famous speaker Lisa Nichols. You might remember her from the movie The Secret. She was the most sought-after speaker in that movie. It provides 12 specific guided creative visualization audios that help you manifest in 12 unique areas of your life: money, love, health, success, fame. You're gonna get this entire program free with Silver Ultramind. After you learn to tap into the alpha level of mind and then the theta level, and you can comfortably be there, you want to listen to these 12 creative visualization scripts to help you manifest incredible things in your life. Lisa Nichols narrates all of these audios. Here are the specific details on how to order. Simply click on the link around the video now. You'll be taken to a site where you can choose your membership option, either monthly or yearly. After that, all you have to do is enter your regular details in a secure checkout, and you're part of the Mindvalley family. As soon as you do, within a minute, you'll get an email with your login instructions, and you can access the Mindvalley platform on your computer or download the iPhone or Android app. But I do have to warn you, this one-time offer is giving you a pretty big discount, so it's only for people who have had time to sit through this entire video. It is a thank you for spending this much time with me. And as soon as you click off this page, it will be gone. So please don't close this page because you may not see this again. Silver is the single most impactful thing I've ever done. It is the method I teach my children to do, and it has been one of the most important parts of life for thousands of graduates. That's why I urge you to take a stand today. Say that you're no longer going to accept a life that's less than magical and miraculous. Click the link below to join Silver today. There's only one favor I ask, and that is this: when you see the results this gives you, let me know. Leave a story, tag me on Instagram, or even better, go to stories.mindvalley.com and submit your story. Now it's up to you. You can carry on as you've always been, or you can try Silver Ultramind risk-free for 15 days. You have absolutely nothing to lose and a whole incredible, magical new life to gain. My name is Vishen. I'm the founder of Mindvalley. I'm the face of the Silver Ultramind system, and I cannot wait for you to take action and finally achieve the success you deserve. Just click the button below this video to get started.